Yo,
You know.
yo, do you ever just get something stuck in your teeth and you're like, fuck, this hurts. It actually like hurts and is really uncomfy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can't get it out. You have to go get something to get it out.
The worst is if I'm eating like tree nuts, like cashews or something like that, and I have a permanent bottom retainer, and if they get stuck in there, they'll just jam my front teeth, and it hurts so
Yikes.
bad. Not like all the time though, but it just like happens occasionally.
Yeah.
All right, what should be our podcast opener? I was thinking about doing like whatever topic that we're talking about, do like a one word pre like our feelings about the whole reveal or like whatever news topic that we're doing.
Yeah, you
But
just have to open it up with like, all right, so we're
welcome,
gonna talk about blank today.
welcome to
Um,
the
Everybody, what is your feelings
Yeah.
on blank and blank?
All right. All right, welcome to the Got Game podcast. This is going to be a uncut version of the podcast where we talk about anything from gaming topics, anything happening in the gaming scene or world surrounding that. And today we'll be covering the Beyond Light Vidoc that came out today. Some of us are some very large Destiny nerds, have been playing that since 9th grade of high school, so we're considered Destiny veterans among that community. But today I am your host, Just Drayk, and we have our co-host. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Doofin Davin.
And we have.
I'm Andre. I don't really have a Astro in the name. That's the name.
There we go. That
Yeah.
works. So we are your hosts, and today we'll be talking about the Beyond Light. Yo,
That actually scared me so bad. Hold on.
Dang.
Fucking Spider-Man just comes out of the
Dude, it's the Iron Spider, bro.
That genuinely scared me seeing that behind me in the camera.
We just got interrupted by Iron Spider.
Probably go close your door, Davin.
Yeah, I have a paper sign that I put on my door that just says "Streaming, please text."
Whew. All right, might be.
Hey, we probably should redo that then.
I mean, I think it's still fine.
It's still fine.
It's
Well,
the
we're just
uncut
going
version,
in
right?
It is the uncut version, just going all deep into the uncut.
Except for
Yeah.
that cut
Well,
right there.
I mean,
There's
No,
whoa,
that's funny.
it's too good. But
Okay.
for like the audio version of the podcast, I want it to be more uncut, and then if I do like get around to editing the video portion, it'll be more like cut and dry, And then kind of for the podcast, like my ideas for creating this is like to not have like swearing as much because I'm too lazy and don't want to edit it out, and just have
Okay.
more chances for kind of the podcast
My
to
bad.
reach. Well, that's fine. I mean, if it slips, it slips. Like I know you guys, but like
Try my best.
I just want it to be able to be watchable to more audiences, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So as we're going around, Andre and Davin, I want to get your guys's, if you had to summarize what you felt about the Vidoc in one word, or like a string, like a phrase, what would it be, Davin?
It's exciting, but like slightly worrisome. That's
Okay.
what I'd say.
Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. I just wanted to get your first impressions, and Andre.
Confusing.
Okay. And for myself, I'd have to go mind blowing.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
for the first part of the sections that I had notes down, and if Andre or Davin, you have topics that you want to talk about this, we can just kind of roll through kind of the notes that I had, or like things that came up for you guys. But the first kind of note that focus that I had was kind of like the opening part where they're all focusing on like the campaign portion of focusing on journeying to Europa and the story that we're going to get with that, with Eris and the Drifter and the Stranger. And I just wanted to like kind of get your guys' opinion of what you think about like the upcoming Beyond Light campaign, focusing on Europa, focusing on these hot places that we haven't been before, as well as kind of journeying down that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll let Andre start.
Um. Wait, what was the
How do you
question?
think, what do you think about how the campaign's gonna go?
Oh. I honestly, I'm kind of really excited for the campaign. I think they have planned out a lot of really good like world elements, i.e., like Europa. Europa is like the amount of thought that they've put into a lot of the elements, like the weather. Like that's cool. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Um, I'm definitely gonna be going and looking for tummy sounds and breast pump noises, but you know, hey,
As we all are.
it, honestly, it's the creativity that I really like about what it the creativity and effort they put into um Europa as a whole, and kind of the story of the Braves. Like that's what the campaign is about. It's about the story of the Braves. And one of the things that I'm really kind of interested for is how they're going to have the stranger interact with the Guardian as like a plot point. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
how does that actually happen? Cuz you could have it just be like, Petra, or you could have it be just like Eris, where they're just quest givers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just boring. Like, I feel like they could be so much more involved, kind of like how Osiris was. Osiris was involved story wise in like I would say more than Eris or Petra in those DLCs.
And Osiris, we'll talk about him a little bit more later once we get to the topic of the seasonal content, because that was definitely in the
Right.
latter half of the
Right. But
Vidoc.
but I mean honestly, Osiris just doesn't matter. Like
Whatever.
yeah.
But Davin, for campaign wise, being a Destiny 1 veteran since day one and beta, how do you feel about seeing the Exo Stranger back?
It's dude, it's super exciting. It's super exciting. I hope they they do it good. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
no like how Andre's saying, I don't want it to just be like a quest giver. I want to go into the story a lot more. Obviously, it's Destiny, so there's lore, right?
Yeah.
Probably have to read, but
Mm-hmm.
at least some in game. But I'm super excited for the campaign itself. I don't know. I'm worried with the seasonal content along with it. I think the actual story of Beyond Light will be good, but the like season of the hunt, it looks promising, but I don't want it to I don't know. I feel like it could fall short with the last however many seasons we've had,
Yeah.
just not being that great.
Okay. And
Yeah.
kind of the next plot point I have, or if Andre, you want to interject with the next thing that really stood out to you past the campaign. But I had my next point is um, the new how the new light experience is changing, because that was a big thing that they kind of brought up was with the Cosmodrome, and was it Sean? What was his name?
Sean
Shawhan.
Han or Han
Shaw.
Sean.
Han Sean. Shay
Han
Shay
Sean or
Han.
Sean Han.
But like the with them making Destiny 2 free to play is that they had a very not so straightforward Beyond Light like new player experience. But the fact
Yeah.
that they're changing how the base game is for new players, I feel like will definitely open the door for more people to want to hop in based on like a good solid starting point like we had, how they're redoing the starting point like we had in Destiny 1, where you're waking up on Earth in old Russia and you see the giant massive wall that used to be protecting the old city. I feel like having that be the main set piece for Beyond Light is like really important for the new players and exciting for me. I mean, as everybody coming back will get to play that all of those missions as well, which
Yeah.
is really exciting, and I'm excited to see Cosmodrome again. I mean, that's literally one of my favorite destinations from Destiny 1 was the Plaguelands and the Cosmodrome, and repeating that strike boss over and over again because you could kill her in the one hallway right before you
Mhm.
finish that strike. And Davin knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
To try and
Yeah. One of the things with Destiny 2 that I think they've been kind of plagued with pre um like pre Forsaken and no, pre Shadow Forsaken, yeah, pre Forsaken and post Forsaken is just because Forsaken was when they moved over to um Steam and they did all this other cool stuff and whatnot. And they did was that Forsaken? Did they move over to Steam and Forsaken?
Team was
Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. And then they changed a lot of their models. Pre that and post that, all of that. Um, they just haven't been able to bring in a lot of new players. Like it's either people that someone that is a Destiny 2 player. You don't just pick it up because you saw an ad
Yeah.
or because oh, this looks like a cool game. No, you know someone that plays it. You don't just play it by yourself.
Or they get it on
And
Game Pass now. I mean, all the expansions are included.
yeah. Yeah, and even though it's free, like you can download it for free and play it, but most of the time people are just going to fall off within the first couple weeks, kind of like Genshin Impact.
It's got that. It's too open.
Yeah,
There's too much
I
going
just
on.
fell off with
Yeah.
Genshin. I fell off with most other games of that sense. But yeah.
So
Do you
I
have
just
anything?
I just want to put the ball in your guys' court before we kind of jump down like my set of points. Like what was the next big thing that stuck out to you for both of you? We'll go to each
Beyond,
person and then I can jump back to one of my points.
you have one, Devin? Because mine's a
Just
joke.
Vidoc in general, like the big, like yes.
I mean, if there's a point that like stood out to you past what we've already talked about, like campaign and like the new light experience, like what was the next biggest thing that really like pulled you in?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with obviously the new player experience. They've got to be able to bring people in and teach them how Destiny works, which they haven't really had. So I hope that's good. That there needs to be, by the way, in the Cosmodrome, the loot cave
Yes, the loot cave
and
Easter egg.
the Raoul voice line. We need that.
1,000 deaths will not satisfy me.
I hope that's in there. But I mean, no, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see old stuff come back as long as they've got that new twist, which I think they do with the whole Uldren Sov Cosmodrome stuff going on. So that's one of the main things that stood out to me with all that Cosmodrome stuff coming back.
But we do know Han Shan is not Aldrin.
It's
so
not Uldren.
not Aldrin.
Exactly. That was one of the things I was super confused about, but I'm glad
Yeah.
that they're fleshing it out more as the crow. I mean, even with the pictures of the new Triumphs page, is that one of those symbols was Aldrin's symbol that's on his chest piece, and that
Yeah.
they're fleshing him out more as an individual and not just as like a Cosmodrome mission or two, and then that's all that we see from him for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that there's two things for the campaign that I was thinking of. One which is kind of just a joke, but it's kind of like real is yo.
Hey, you're in a podcast right now, my guy.
I am. Can I join?
If you
My ES webcam utility?
Sure, you can join.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got some opinions about if you've watched the Beyond Light Vidoc.
I haven't, but I'll listen.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that I was gonna say about Beyond Light, specifically the campaign, is it's literally just Doom.
In,
Like if we think about it, it's
Doom?
just the story of Doom. Like it is the story of Doom.
like in what ways?
So, human technology meddling with like all of these cosmic powers and whatnot, and then transforming them into like like mechanical bodies and stuff like that. I mean, that's literally the antagonist of Doom.
Yep.
Like, it's just really funny. Like
Doom guy.
you've got oh gosh, freaking Bray. What's his name? big Bray guy,
Clovis.
Clovis Bray. Yeah, literally the same guy as the antagonist um in Doom as well. I just thought
Yeah.
it was funny that that's how it played out, but I was like, huh, I wonder if there is some sort of
I'm not sure if you took a
collaboration there.
peek at the Destiny lore subreddit this past week, Andre, but the lore that's been coming out from the collector's edition is that
yeah, I've been looking at the
yeah,
collector's
is
edition
that
stuff.
Clovis Bray is going to be somewhere in the DLC because he's
Yeah.
because he's an EXO.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought he wasn't an EXO yet. I thought he was.
He might not be. We
The
don't
way
know.
that I read it is that he had a run in with the darkness and he died and then imprinted himself in an EXO.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then the second thing that I was thinking about was, will Aramis end up being the raid boss, or will she just be like Aldrin in Forsaken? Like, during the campaign, is that it? Is Aramis
I
the
don't
one we killed in the campaign?
I don't think we're gonna kill Aramis. I think after
Do
there's
you think
gonna
we'll
be
become
some
friends with Aramis?
yes
Okay.
in some ways near the
Why?
end of the campaign. Just like some of the ways that I thought they were framing the trailers is that she was going to be an NPC at some point during the game that we were going to talk and interact with. But from the way that they're framing the marketing on their campaign is that we have to take out her lieutenants in her army. There's 3 of them that we're going to have to take out in order to like meet her or face her in some way. But the way that I've been thinking about it is that whatever shard that she has to control the darkness is that when we kill her at the final end, it's going to resurrect her. And we're gonna find out that in the darkness, in some ways, they can resurrect like they can with the light, and the ghost can.
Interesting. Huh.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that she's the antagonist for the story, like 100%.
And I'm excited, dude. Having the first female fallen enemy that we've had in Destiny.
Yeah, but like, who cares? It's just a female.
Hot take.
Hot take.
No. It's weird that it's super similar. Wow, that's a word. Super similar to the Forsaken like model. Like you've got the bad bee Aldrin, right? You got his barons. I don't even remember what they were called.
The Barons.
They're actually called the barons. Okay,
The
yeah.
7
Got his barons. You're killing all them, and then you get to him, right? And if it's, I mean, it could be good. I hope if it is that way, I just hope they have like the Dreaming City like taken like secret and have that be like the Clovis extra section to the campaign.
One of the things with that is there is an area already that we found out through the collector's edition. But what Clovis Bray did to create the exos is they used the radiolarium fluid that creates the Vex milk. He found a way, the darkness taught him how to make an exo frame is Vex technology to
Someone watched the Mylan video.
yeah, it's me. But he tuned the radiolarium fluid to be able to hold a human imprint inside of a Vex body, which is what the exos are. And to do that, somewhere in Europa is a portal to the homeworld of the Vex that we're going to potentially go to.
Yes. That's super exciting. It makes me like I get mad Forsaken like secret like weird shit going on, and you gotta figure it out.
And there's gonna be some weird stuff with the Vex because they're there for a reason, and they're gonna be there for a reason inside of the raid.
Also, new Vex Pog.
New Vex Pog. New Fallen Pog.
That is
Vex milk. That's what I want.
That's literally what I wrote.
Vex Pog. And if you didn't notice, they've got new Fallen, because some of the big enemies now, the ogres are mini Insurrection Prime from the Scourge of the Past, the raid.
Uh-huh.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So the next point that
hold on, Daniel. Vex milk is just that stuff, the white stuff that comes out of Vex when you kill him.
I want. Is what I'm saying. They
take a sip.
They need to do something on the Bungie website where they sell Vex Have it be a meme in the community.
They
Dude,
That
do you
would
know
be
how
in-
really
people
funny.
would buy
in
that?
in the Destiny cookbook, I think you can make Vex milk. Because they have it they have a Destiny cookbook on the store.
Dude,
I
we
need
need
it.
to make Vex milk. That would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yes.
Hey, have a great podcast, you guys.
Alright, see ya.
Thanks.
Bye.
So the next big point that I had on here, that was kind of like in step, with kind of the order of everything, was the seasonal content kind of towards the end of the Vidoc, with, of course, the reveal with Aldrin, and kind of how that might play out. So I just wanted to kind of get your guys' opinion on what you think, how you feel about Aldrin being put as seasonal content.
That's
And-
fine. I think
and-
that's good.
Okay.
I think it was bound to happen at some point, whether it was like in the release of um uh the DLC, like the beginning, Beyond Light, literally just Beyond Light, that entire word just went out of my head. Whether it was in the beginning of Beyond Light or in one of the next seasons or one of the next DLCs or years, I think it was eventually going to happen, so
Mm-hmm.
why not put it in one of the seasons? I think that's good, and it's different from the seasons that we've had in the past where it's like it's a tiny bit of content. Like for Shadowkeep, it was, oh yeah, you get Vex now on the moon.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it. And it's like, oh,
Well,
okay.
it was
we get
also
Vex now.
us going back to the Black Garden too. It wasn't just like that whole thing with the seasonal content.
Yeah, but the Black Garden was the raid. So, I mean, they could have done more. The only thing that we got else in the Black Garden was the event
Mhm.
that you the event that you do, and then you go into the Black Garden and you
The Vex
kill a big
offensive.
Minotaur. Yeah, Vex offensive. You kill a
Yeah.
Minotaur, and that's it. Like that's all you do.
And one of the big points that one of the guys highlighted in the video was that Beyond Light in this seasonal content is chapter 1 for the next story of Destiny, and will be finished within year 4 throughout the next seasons leading up to Witch Queen. And so with this being chapter 1 and us getting revealed Aldrin, and us now, as we saw in there, was Zavala's alliance with the Red Legion, is that they have to find a way to fight the pyramid ships in the darkness, and that's coming now. I think it's going to be really cool to see that play out. Is like, of course, the Anon of the Nine for those leaked posts from months and months ago was that we were going to be allied with the Cabal and the Fallen eventually, which we kind of are, as we'll see with Varix as being one of the other NPCs that we interact with, that I want to rip his eyes out because he killed my boy Cade 6. Screw you, Varix.
Yeah, I just want to see like
Motherfucker.
honestly just want to see what's gonna happen with big man Cabal dude.
Yes.
It doesn't have a body anymore,
Big chillin'.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
oh,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
It's weird because I hope like how did they wasn't the start of Shadowkeep's seasonal content the Vex Offensive, Season of Undying, and then straight from there didn't it go to
The Sundial.
Saint 14? Yeah, with Sundial.
Sundial.
Yeah, so it's just weird because it seemed like the whole story it was like this seasonal content, and then it was like a whole new thing, and then a whole new thing, and then a whole new thing, and nothing really
So
like, tied up.
one thing about that is one of the ways that they're trying to fix that seasonal content that they had in the blog post for today that I wanted to talk to you guys and get your first reactions here is they're trying to avoid FOMO, and everything from story to activities will be staying season through season. So the Hive monoliths aren't going to go away after the season's over. That activity is staying, and it's going to be
That's
moving
awesome.
forward throughout the seasons. And
That's
every
awesome.
every piece of armor and guns that you'll be obtained that's specifically from this season, you'll be able to earn all the way up until the end of year 4.
I don't know if I agree with all of that, but that's awesome.
It's a step to kind of fix what we've had terrible experiences, because like Season of the Worthy, that season was terrible and I didn't want to play it at all, but there's still things like I never got the 7th Seraph hand cannon, which is now one of the best 180s that you can get if you had it rolled right, but you cannot get it anymore because it's there's no activity that grants you that weapon. And even with the Umbral Engrams, you can't get that specific 7th Seraph gun. You can only get the shotgun and the SMG. But just like having the chance to give players more if they skip out on a season, I think is a step in the right direction. And I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on that.
Do you want to go, Devin?
I'll
I
go.
know you feel about this one.
Because you have a bone to pick when it comes to that seasonal content.
All right. According to people, I have FOMO.
Hey,
Wait.
hold on. I did have flashbacks when he said FOMO. I did have flashbacks.
It says it in the
FOMO.
blog post. They specifically label FOMO in that blog post too, which is why I wrote it down.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the seasonal content, like some of the seasonal content was like good. It was okay. But like, at least for me, most of it was just like super uninteresting, not really replayable because there's no, I don't know. There wasn't anything like story-wise linked to it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I hope that they do, like obviously they're going to, did they say if it's going to last for like the whole year until the next big drop, like all the seasons content?
It'll be up until the next big drop, which will be Witch Queen next fall this time.
Okay. So with that, I hope that they tie it together better and have like a coherent seasonal progression up until Witch Queen, because the last 4 seasons have just been like really big one-offs.
Yeah.
And haven't really, nothing's happened. It started like 4 different things.
The one thing I would say about them is that they weren't even really big one-offs. They were like really small one-offs that really didn't leave you with anything to like anything fulfilling or anything that was like, oh yeah, that was really good. Except for I would say the times of or the corridors of time.
For the return of Saint 14.
That puzzle was amazing.
Yes.
Finally completing the lore. Finally completing the lore for the perfect paradox. That we finally get that solved.
Really nice. Also, can we get the 16th wish? Is that what, or 15th?
Yo,
15th.
Hello?
I don't know.
There's
I don't know
nothing
if it's
yet.
actually.
Anyways, continue.
troll?
My bad. Bungee troll, straight.
All right, so Andre, if we want to take a note from yours list, or Davin, if you had something you want to talk about, I've kind of at the end of my list, and then before we close, just eventually we'll do kind of like a pro Beyond Light, like a pro list and like an anti Beyond Light list of some of the stuff that we're really excited for, and then some of the stuff that we're kind of cautious about before we close. But like the next thing after we talk about some points from you guys is I'll just go over the roadmap that I'm not sure if either of you guys have said, but they have released the full roadmap for detailing what's coming up, and I can go through that in a minute after you guys kind of want to go through some of the points that you guys were interested in or stuff that stood out to you.
Cool. I put Uldren Pog. That was one thing.
Pog.
Yeah. One of the things that I was going to talk about, I was going to go back to kind of this wasn't really like, this doesn't really have anything to do with campaign. Well, maybe we can talk about it later. This might go into it, but, what I was going to say is like, I feel like stasis is just a problem is just a fix to a problem that Destiny has always had, which is not having CC. Like there's no crowd control. There's no stuns. There's no way to slow people down really, except smoke bomb. Like that's it.
Cosmic
Like,
ice.
Yeah, now you get cosmic ice that has rumble noises from tummies. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm glad they're doing it. It's just what, 6 years late?
Right?
It's late.
I mean,
It's really late.
with Taken King, we had to wait 3 years before we got a new
Oh no, I know.
subclass. Like it's
I
been a
know.
fat minute.
I know. And it's just kind of weird that they're so apprehensive to add new like powers. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I go back and I look at like World of Warcraft. I'm like, oh, they're putting out a new subclass like every single DLC drop.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So about
in
that as well is they showed in the trailer and opening it up for the door to new possibilities is when he clicked on there was a section called light subclasses and dark subclasses. And
yeah, so I'm assuming we're
like,
getting more.
we're
dark
probably going to get
subclasses.
more, but it's going to take another year.
Yeah. Which would be cool. One of the other things I was gonna say is Zivu dead? Question mark? Hello? Plot hole.
Yeah.
Huh,
Zivu
what is
Wrath.
going on? That's
'Cause
a
wasn't-
huge plot hole.
Wasn't she beheaded by Oryx inside of her own throne world so that he could gain her powers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's
She's
why I was
dead.
confused.
Dead.
Uh-huh.
She is dead. I mean, I don't know what else you can say
I
about it.
don't know,
That's a
man.
huge plot hole that they're just gonna Deus Ex Machina it. They're just gonna give her the hand of God.
Well,
and say,
there's
oh no, she wasn't dead.
there's got to be some reason they did the same thing with Nakaris is that when he died
Yeah.
is that Savathun goes, I see your soul floating here trying to move to the other
Well,
world and go
Not
and just steals him.
Nokris was already trying to revive himself. So he was already in process.
Mm-hmm.
He was already to the point of, yeah, I'm about to get a new body and get revived.
But then he made the deal with Savathun in exchange for resurrection, for trading
Yeah.
off their magics between each other for the necromancy that
He had
Nakaris
always
has.
wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was really just in that whole bargain, it was really just if I remember correctly, Savathun kind of strong-arming Nokris into like him being on her side because he didn't necessarily want to be on her side. He wanted to be his own worm god basically. Like
Mhm.
that was his intention is through sacrifice, through basically we gave him the opportunity to become his own worm god by killing him. Like he was going to get some sort of power after he was resurrected through himself.
Yeah.
I think that's what was going to happen. But back to Zivu, I mean, we don't really know enough about that whole situation to say, like, oh, yeah, no, she's 100% dead, which, I mean, when you say it in the lore,
Oh, that confused me bad. Andre froze.
He'll come back.
I was like, pause.
Oh,
am I still
There we
frozen?
go.
no,
Okay, there we go.
you're back.
Okay. When Oryx, like when it says that Oryx like killed someone in their throne world, like we killed Oryx in her throne world
Mm-hmm.
or his
On the dreadnought
Who
because he
knows?
turned it
Whatever.
on the
inside out.
dreadnought. Who knows? Yeah. Then it should be the same for both. So maybe it's at the point where she's a gun and we go get a Zivu gun? Question mark? I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
Maybe.
But it's really confusing and not helpful to say that Zivu is back without
Yeah.
like that's just
A reason to show how or why.
yeah.
It's kind of like there's these 3 Red Legion scions and they decided to crash a ship. Oh, the Red
Oh my.
Legion. It's like, what?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Red
that was
Legion
annoying.
got spanked. We spanked them. Why? Who are these
They're-
3? Why?
They're still running
What?
and kicking. That's
Or
like
the
that was the most annoying thing about the whole Sundial DLC was those 3 scions. It was so stupid. And then one of them
Yeah.
lived and now the Almighty's crashing into Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like freaking raid layer. You know, when we go and kill the big dude in Callus's
Yeah.
room. It's like what we I mean, Callus in the raid, Callus does give a very cool illustration for the Red Legion. Is basically the Red Legion doesn't even with Gaul, Red Legion wasn't really united, but like they were united by Gaul, but they weren't attached to Gaul. Like they had no loyalty specifically to Gaul. Kind of like the opposite. Callus's attendants are wholeheartedly loyal to Callus. Like that is it.
Mhm.
They are only loyal to Callus. Um, but all of the different factions that are within the Red Legion, they don't care about each other. They just care about sorry, I was gonna
Bad
use some
word.
bad word. Uh, they just care about conquering the universe. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's all they care about. And they'll do it through any means necessary, even if Gaul dies. Like he calls that you cut off one head, another will grow back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he uses that analogy for um the Red Legion, which I thought was very interesting. Which is why they come back and is also a band-aid on a plot hole.
Well, I mean, we'll have to learn throughout this season of like now that the Red Legion's goal is survival because the darkness is conquering everything and there's nothing that they can do. Because if you watched, I was watching Bife's video early today, but like he was talking
Ew.
about he was talking about the motive of the Red Legion now is their main strongholds were on Mercury and Io and what was the other Nessus is that those since those planets are starting to go away because of the darkness, the Red Legion doesn't have anywhere to turn to, and so now they turn to us because they're getting conquered, and so we're gonna have to learn why they turned to us and why they turned to Zavala because in that shot specifically, Bife was pointing out is that in the background they're on a Cabal ship, they're not on any planet.
Oh, interesting. Is that in the Vidoc today?
Yeah, that's in the Vidoc. Is that Osiris is in the background and Zavala's chilling with those Red Legion commanders, and they're talking about the darkness. And
That's
so,
interesting.
so with the DLC and with the seasonal content, is we're gonna have to figure out how to combat the darkness, which is probably gonna be part of the campaign. But Osiris specifically is gonna be combating Xivu Arath and combating the hive monoliths that have popped up throughout the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Davin, did you have any points that kind of stuck out to you? We gotta give Andre to talk about that, and then we'll kind of give you a chance, and then I can go over the kind of the seasonal content and kind of give you like a first-hand reaction of what you think about some of the stuff that's coming, and then we can move to kind of like the pros and cons before we close.
No, I just wrap up my point on hopefully the second time around Bungie can make it smooth storytelling throughout the seasons. That'll be the main point for me that I hope they hit.
I mean, you and I being a Destiny 1 veteran and knowing how jagged the story was throughout Destiny 1 is that hopefully with the Destiny content vault and some of the things that they're bringing back from D1 is that we'll get conclusions to certain things that we didn't when those destinations didn't come back in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I mean, man,
Like the Vault of Glass.
the Vault of Glass is coming back.
Yes. Breathe.
Yep.
There's got to be some stuff with that, dude. There's gotta get some
Well,
lore.
I mean, especially with the Vault of Glass was it was time travel, right? The Vault of Glass was specifically for time travel, if I remember correctly. Like you would go
Honestly?
into it.
Honestly, I can't remember. It's been so long.
Damn, dude.
It's been too
And a non-Destiny
I'm
1
rusty on my lore.
Rest,
I'm
'cause,
rusty.
well, the hard thing
Bro.
about Destiny 1 lore is that you had to play the game, find every single grimoire card, and then go to the website and read the ones that you had unlocked. It took another level of dedication to find out what that meant from D1, or you just watch Mylan or Bife.
I honestly couldn't
yeah.
tell you though.
The Vault of Glass is specifically for time travel because if you remember that one guy, I forget. There's a whole like lore video on him, like or lore
Guardian?
section. No.
X
Um,
dude?
no. It's a not the Guardian. It is a Guardian, but it's not us. And it's the reason we get No Time to Explain. Right?
I think it is Praedyth.
It is Praedyth.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you mentioned it. Yeah, Praedyth.
Mhm.
So like
Praedyth is very important to the lore of the Vault of Glass. So if
Right,
that
and the
comes
Vault of
back, we could
Glass-
get some of that wrapped up.
yeah, and the Vault of Glass is just it is a time travel machine. Yeah, because in Praedyth going into the Vault of Glass, like there's now like 12 of him because he messed up he went a weird path and now he's still alive
And
to this point.
the only way he could tell people what was happening to him is by taking off pieces of his armor and throwing it into the time stream until we found it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Yep.
excited for that.
But that won't come. It'll come out sometime during year 4, but it's not coming out with Beyond Light this November. Which like it's fine, but like now that we know the extent of how much the Destiny content vault will cover, because like they've said before, is everything in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 has potential to come back if it gets removed. So completely revamped destinations, completely revamped stories for those areas and stuff that we will be returning to, which is very exciting. As like a Destiny 1 veteran, seeing some of that come back is very, very thrilling. And to see that the first step is the Cosmodrome, because that was like the big thing with the base Destiny 1 expansion is you spent so much time in the Cosmodrome before you jumped to a different planet.
Mhm.
And then you spent
You guys remember
so much time on the moon before you jumped to Mars.
yeah. Do you guys remember Destiny 2's E3 back in like 2013 or 14 where they said, "Yeah, you see all those buildings? You'll be able to go into all of them." It's the only thing I think of when I think of the Cosmodrome. Being lied to. It's like, come on.
Like, okay.
All right, Davin. So if your points all wrapped up, I can start going through like the calendar per se, and get your first-hand reaction. Same thing with Andre, because I've definitely already gone through it. So just what we've got on here. I can't really show this since this will be an audio podcast, so I'll kind of read through it. But launch day, what we're getting is the Beyond Light campaign, the Stasis Unlocks, the Salvation's Grip exotic, and the Grenade Launcher's quest. 2 things that we get when the when on launch day on the 10th. For
Grenade Launcher's quest?
it just says Grenade Launcher quest is all it shows.
I think it's the Stasis one.
Yeah.
they
Oh,
showed in the
yeah, that
trailer.
would make sense.
Then what's free to all players is Europa, Cosmodrome, seasonal armor, and exotic weapon, a new strike added to the playlist, new lost sectors, 100 plus seasonal ranks, new artifact mods, new triumphs, shaders, emblems, Iron Banner, and the Dawning. And then when we look at the Season of the Hunt content, on the 10th, we get the seasonal artifact in the reward track unlocks. The Empire hunts begin, which it says it's part of the... Oh, no, that's a part of the campaign for the Empire hunts, which I think is us hunting down her lieutenants. And then the Glassway Strike opens, which is a new strike being added from Europa exclusively and not from the Cosmodrome, because they're adding I think 1 or 2 strikes. They're adding the Saber Strike, the one where we loot Rasputin's vault. They're bringing back the Saber Strike as well as that strike where we kill that screaming hive witch, and I can't remember what her name was.
Omnigul.
Play
the clip.
Omnigul
Hear that
clip.
Scream.
Ugh. And then when November 10th launches from, it says December 12th is we're going to be able to uncover Europa's secrets. On the 13th, it specifically says that adept weapons are getting added to trials within that first weekend. So Andre, I don't know if you read that blog post, but they're adding adept weapons for going flawless in trials like they had in Destiny 1. And the flawless weapons will have an extra mod slot for adept exclusive mods, as well as an adept exclusive shader, which is only going to be able to be applied to the adept flawless guns.
Okay, so my question is the adept mod something that only works in whatever field that you get that adept in? So, like, let's say
Oh, it's adept.
Trials of Osiris.
Adept weapons are only for
it would
trials.
work- No. I mean, like, does that mod only pertain to working inside trials? Like, for
No.
example, the Osiris, or not Osiris, the Callus raid mods.
Mhm.
Like, those were only things that you could use on those specific armor pieces for that raid. Like, you couldn't use them on any other raid.
The adept mod slot only applies to trials weapons. If when you get
Right.
like when you
I know that.
it'll say like question mark in quotations like adept blah blah blah, like adept summoner, and then it'll have an extra mod slot just for adept mods, and then every time you
Right.
go to the lighthouse you'll get a chance to drop a adept mod as well as an adept gun and an adept shader.
Right. Like I was saying, my only question is does that mod only apply while playing trials?
No.
Like,
No.
okay.
But,
the
Yeah,
thing.
I see how that can be confusing.
I'm pretty sure, knowing Bungie, unless they just go sicko, it's like you're pretty much using it for trials. Like the adept mods would be like, okay, this is good for trials.
Yeah. I mean, they gave two examples in that TWAB specifically, which I don't have pulled up at the moment. But they're based for just boosting like handling and range for those adept guns, as well as
Mhm.
you're gonna have a regular mod slot, you're gonna have a masterwork, and then an adept mod slot that you'll be able to choose only on those adept weapons. And
That
then
makes sense.
for the on November 17th is when the seasonal content starts. So we have an entire week of playing the campaign and exploring Europa before any of the seasonal story ever begins. And so that'll start on the 17th, as well as the Wrathsborn hunts begin. So those monoliths that pop out throughout the system, they'll be starting on the 17th and not right as way when the DLC drops. And then on the 21st, so 2 weeks after the DLC drops, is when the Deepstone Crypt will unlock on that Saturday at 9 a.m. So giving people a chance to do the raid. Oh, Andre froze again. And you'll be able to launch that raid.
Hello, am I back?
Yeah,
Hello?
you're back. We
Okay.
got you back. And
Wait,
so
so when do we get Deepstone Crypt raid?
Deepstone Crypt comes 2 weeks after the DLC comes out on the 21st, which is a Saturday at 9 a.m. for everybody for the world's first. It starts on a Saturday this time.
Oh, so they're going back to
Mm-hmm.
Forsaken. Oh.
And
So
then
we're gonna have to get it done by Tuesday.
well, they're
Again.
I think if I read that TWAB right, we'll have to go back and double check. Is that you'll be able to earn the jacket up to 2 weeks, so it won't be just tied to 1 week.
Oh, that's stupid.
Well, I think it's just not the very next preset, but the one after that.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's like a week and a
10
quarter.
days, 9 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I was like,
they wouldn't want to give you
if
like
they're
3
legit-
3 days until reset to get the jacket, you know.
yeah, they did that once, and they almost didn't have anyone get it.
That was for Scourge of the Past, because like barely anybody got that.
No,
jacket.
Forsaken.
Oh,
Forsaken almost no. There was one team that got the jacket, if I remember correctly.
For
One
Forsaken's
team.
raid?
Yeah.
Dude, that raid was crazy.
Mad
Yeah.
hard.
That's mad.
and then on December 8th is when the first Iron Banner will begin. So almost 3 weeks after the DLC launches, And then from December 15th to January 5th is when we'll have the Dawning event, and it has a cool new picture. So we'll be looking forward to that. And then it just says and more, so we'll find out more if stuff comes up. And then at the bottom is the interesting section, as it says new exotic weapons and armor. The first one listed, I know Davin's excited about this, is Hawkmoon.
Yeah.
Hawkmoon.
Give me my random
another
rolls.
one, but yes.
Is listed Hawkmoon. Then it says Cloud Strike, which I think is that sniper with the giant the ice rod in it.
Yes.
No Time to Explain, Duality, Salvation's Grip, the Lament, the Icefall Mantle, the
Lament.
the
Sorry about that.
the Mask of Bacchus, the Aether's Embrace, the Dawn Chorus, the
Okay.
Necrotic Grip, and the Precious Scars are all the exotics listed at the end of the page.
Have we
Dude, I
seen
will
all-
say, hold on. Necrotic Grip and the Teleport look sick. Those two
Yes.
exotics look absolutely sick.
Indeed.
I think Necrotic Grip is probably one of the coolest, like, mechanics-wise, exotics they've added in a long time.
Mhm.
Like, adding that, it adds a new mechanic into the game, and it's
Burning
literally
melee
just
for warlocks.
it's burning melee, but it goes to other
It
like it
infects-
spreads.
Yeah, it infects,
infects
everybody
other
else
people.
in that area. Yo.
Dude, so cool. That is such a like adding poison into the game is such a win, like in general, because we don't have anything like poison
Thorn.
except for Thorn and Middle Tree Night Stalker
with the bomb. Yeah, the snare
Smoke.
bomb.
with the bomb.
The
Yep.
snare.
And when you hit someone with a bomb, you get a 50% increase, right? 50%
Or
damage increase.
for the exotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like, bruh.
And I mean, some of the stuff that's been hinted in the lore too is I really am waiting for Touch of Malice to come back because they've mentioned it in the Destiny 2 lore, and that was one of the guns from Taken King that was the raid exotic.
That was a sick gun.
Was Touch of Malice.
Oh yeah, that was literally
That was the gun you could shoot forever because it stole
that's
your health.
Oryx.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
gun
that is
was-
literally Oryx.
Oryx the gun.
Yeah.
That'd be a sick one that I'd be fine coming back because I never actually got it in Destiny 1 because nobody would ever finish the Taken King raid with me, which is still one of the raids that I've never finished.
Dang. Well,
Dude.
let's hope it comes back.
Taken King
Yeah.
and Wrath of the Machine are the two raids I've never finished in Destiny 1. You plug
Wow.
your Xbox in, Davin.
I'll plug it in. We have to.
I've
Yeah,
never
it's
never
so
beat
fun.
those. Those are the only raids I've played so much of Destiny 1 being a veteran from the Dark Below that I've never beaten those two raids.
Dude, I was trying to think if there's any raids that I haven't done in Destiny 2, but I think I've done all of them. I think, Davin, I think you and I have done all of them together.
Yeah. Wasn't the last one the Spire? We just never did it because
No, we did it a long time ago.
we did. Who was it that
Yeah.
hadn't done it recently?
I
Someone.
haven't.
Drake.
Spire.
You still haven't done
Spire is the only raid in D2 that I haven't done.
Yeah.
It's the
Teach
one that I kind of refuse because I hate that final boss. Because literally
Davin,
because
'cause-
of Damien. Because he ruined that whole experience
Okay.
for all of us.
Davin, if you remember when we did it, we finished it with that guy that just
That guy.
oh no, he left. He left that guy.
And then we finally beat it.
And then we finally beat it. Oh man, that was dude. we
Never
were
be
up
that
so
guy.
late. Never be that guy.
Never be that guy is the advice for tonight.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
All right, so before I wrap up the show, I just want to kind of go around and say the pro, like your good thing for Beyond Light, and the one thing you're kind of not excited for Beyond Light. Like your
Gavin, you
biggest plus and your biggest minus for Beyond Light.
I'll go. Biggest plus has got to be the subclass. It's been needed
Yes.
badly. So that's a big plus. Add a bunch more variety to the game, and even with old content, it'll make it that much more interesting. And then I can't really. I don't know. None of my things are cons yet. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of hopefully Bungie has learned from their mistakes, because so far I just don't know if they have.
Yeah.
With their seasonal, that'll be the con. Hopefully they learn from their mistake, because the seasonal content looks like it's another
Season of Arrivals isn't
one
that
up.
bad though. Our current
It's not too
season
bad.
isn't that bad. It could have been better. I mean, there's still some things that I have gripes with it. Mainly that I grinded out within the first 24 hours, and I had my complete Umbral in caster completely upgraded in like less than 24 hours.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah. I was way too excited for Season of Arrivals, and then it came, and I couldn't help myself.
I would say pro for me is fleshing out of like post fall lore. So like or
Yes.
pre fall lore. My bad.
Mhm.
That's a
Pre
good one.
fall lore.
Golden Age, bro. Golden Age.
Golden Age. Yeah. Like what actually happened? Like who is Clovis Bray? How is he like why is he such a big bitch? Sorry, hold on. Why is he such a bad
It's
guy?
39
Like
square count.
like explaining how um humanity was able to make such like revolutionary technology without having like the know-how. Like they
Mhm.
just like the traveler just what like gave them dreams of stuff, and then the darkness gave them dreams of stuff. Who knows? I don't know.
I mean, that's what's exciting that we've kind of seen so far with the collector's edition. If you've been following that,
Yeah.
is that a lot of the visions that Clovis Bray created throughout the Golden Age was the darkness influencing him.
Yeah. So what I want to know is where's the traveler? Like, what is the traveler doing? Is he just being the traveler like usual?
Well, I mean that the Traveler hadn't shown up yet because there wasn't really
Oh,
because the Traveler
well,
showed
no,
up
but we
after
knew-
the collapse
right. But we knew about the traveler a long time ago.
from the Fallen, right?
No, we went to Mars,
Oh yeah,
and
the
it was
opening
on
opening cutscene of Destiny 1.
the opening cutscene of Destiny 1.
And
We knew about the
the
traveler.
the lore
And the
is
Traveler-
one of those astronauts is Clovis Bray.
Oh, I didn't know that. But the one thing I do know is that the traveler is what sparked the Golden Age. Like
Mhm.
there is like the traveler interacting somehow with humans ended up sparking the Golden Age.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just just humans realizing that there is alien life. That wasn't it. It was literally something happened in order to make humanity fall into a golden age, which
Mhm.
we don't know what happened. Like we don't know anything about before the fall.
Yeah. So
Um,
the current lore is that Clovis, Elise, and Anna are the three astronauts that found the Traveler.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Dang.
And it's going to be
then-
interesting to kind of see because Clovis was obviously influenced by the light and the dark, and then Anna became a
Right.
guardian, and Elise is an agent of the darkness because she turned into the Exo Stranger. Because Elise was born of the darkness, and that's why she has that weird little floaty, like alive ghost, which is what we're gonna find out more about. Is that she
Yeah,
was
I
born of the
wanna know about
darkness,
that.
Anna was born of the light, and Clovis was influenced by both.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, Anna is also a non-biological daughter of Clovis. So
True that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a con for me is kind of just a lot of the retcon
Okay.
that they're going through. Like
Sivu
Ziva
Wrath.
Wrath,
Yep.
like there's that, and then I mean there there's plenty of other stuff that they just haven't explained, or it's just left open. Like Callus, what's happening with Callus? What's happening with all of the other Fallen? Like that could get explained, but it doesn't have to because it's not really all about Fallen in this DLC like it was in. Actually, we haven't had a actual Fallen DLC in a long time, so there you go. I don't remember. Was Aramis the one in the
She was trying to take Outbreak.
That,
No, that wasn't Aramis.
Yeah, it was.
That was not Aramis. No, it
Aramis was
wasn't.
trying to take Outbreak.
No, that
There,
was
it's a
not
different Fallen that ends up helping us. Remember, gets us
Yep.
in.
different person.
But no. But Aramis is the swear, trying to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We
okay.
stop it. He helps us stop her.
And he's
Yeah, that
he's
makes sense.
also the one. You know how
That
like,
wasn't-
before the DLC drops, they release lore pages on
Yeah.
Bungie.net.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
same guy, I need to know his name, but he's the one that's been warning us about Aramis on Europa. So he's also one of the people that's been leading us to Europa and warning us and giving us surveillance updates of what she's been doing there. And
Yeah.
because Aramis sent out a call to all the fallen houses and saying, "Hey yo, I've got the darkness. Screw your fallen houses and come follow me." Because the new house is the House of Darkness, and the House of Salvation is what it's called.
Yeah, that wasn't actually what I was gonna talk about. What I was gonna talk about is like, oh,
You were at retcons with Sivu Wrath.
yeah, and was Aramis the one in the oh gosh, it's not the raid, it's the dungeon. Was Aramis the one in the dungeon?
No, not in Prophecy.
Who was the fallen in Prophecy?
It's Aramis. Oh,
That's
wait,
literally what I just.
You mean the other dude?
yeah. It's Aramis.
Who is that? Okay, so it is Aramis.
It's a shadow of Aramis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't done Prophecy, so I wouldn't know.
At least I'm pretty sure that it is.
Davin's looking it up.
You should also
I
look
gotta
at
look
you
up.
should also look up the name of that fallen dude that helps us out. It's Mithrax. That's what it is.
Mithrax,
Our
yes.
boy Mithrax.
Yeah,
It literally just said
Mithrax-
Calico.
yeah.
I don't know.
Mithrax
Oh yeah,
is
it
the
does just
real
say
G.
Kel Echo, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I would just say cons are just all of the retcons and like takebacks and stuff like that they're doing, and like no explanations for anything. Like, I mean, I understand that they need an entire season to actually answer a lot of these big questions, like what's going on with Callus, what's going on with the Nine, what's going on with all these other things. I hope we get an explanation for some of the stuff for the 9 in this, because they're heavily involved somehow, I guess. I mean, Prophecy was about the 9. All of like
Reckoning.
the Reckoning was all about 9, and then the fact that the Drifter is gonna be on Europa. It's like, okay, the Drifter, he is an agent of the 9. Like, what?
And then what's
Yeah.
You
dope
just gotta
is
explain this.
there's a second in that trailer where we
Mhm.
see some very important things. Is the Stranger, the Drifter, and Aramis
Yep.
are all using darkness powers to fight the Fallen on Europa.
That's
The
interesting.
snippet of that.
The
was pretty
snippet
sick.
is Drifter
Yeah.
was Aramis was Eris was dodging. She was dodging with the darkness abilities. the exo
Mhm.
stranger was teleporting like she's done in the DLCs in the past, and then the drifter
Mhm.
was throwing one of the stasis grenades in that snippet.
That's cool. Also, it would be kind of interesting if stasis was actually a 9 power. That would be kind of interesting. Anyways, it could be possible
One
because
of the subclasses.
that would be really interesting. And I think that would be a really cool way to tie in the 9 into how we interact with
Mm.
them just in general.
Yes.
Also, um that ship at the beginning of the Vidoc, that wasn't
It's
a
the drifter's
ship.
derelict. It's the drifter ship.
No, no, no. The one that goes into the ice.
Oh
The one
no,
that
that's
is moving.
it's like a shard of the pyramid ship.
I don't think it is.
What is
I
it?
don't think it's. I don't think
I
it's
know what you're
part of
talking
the darkness. It kind of
It-
looks like it
It
could
looks
be.
super similar to when they're doing the Aramis was like getting the powers for her little peons, the little dummies,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and it like
dregs.
turns all like orange and like, and then the shard comes out.
Uh-huh.
My sound effect.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Now that I look at it
As
again,
Davin gets a
I
career
guess
in
it
sound design.
is. Yeah,
But it's
I
It's-
guess it would be a night or not a night, a darkness ship. I
Yeah.
guess it would be, but what's in it?
Who knows?
the
Is it just
one
one of
thing
those
that's
tall veiled
exciting
ladies?
is what's his name? Luke Smith.
Mhm.
That's his name, correct?
Yep.
I don't know what name I was thinking of. Luke Smith saying the drifter or the stranger has time to explain what she didn't have time to explain, and a
That's
lot of it.
that's my pro that
Gotta
I'm really
get-
excited for.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing on my list is who in the heck is she talking to in Destiny 1 when she's talking to somebody from the future because she can travel through time.
Mm-hmm.
Is why did she tell us I don't have time? Why I don't have time to explain?
She's talking to us.
She's talking to us from the future. Is that's the number one thing I'm excited for? Is now it's time to reveal who she is and what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's my big pro. But my big con that I have that I'm kind of worried about for this season is I'm worried about the longevity of it because with Forsaken they still had Activision's resources to be able to create as long of a campaign and as long of content that we had for the Dreaming City. Because after we finished that campaign, we had about like 9 to 12 weeks of the recycled weeks from finding out what happens with Savathun's influence on the Dreaming City, and we had 12 more weeks of content where we went back each week to find out these lore tabs and talk with Mara. I'm worried about the longevity of making sure that Beyond Light can have that same lifespan and keep us hooked each week to keep us moving forward. Is that we need to have lore stuff, we need to have changes to Europa, and we need to have stuff from the seasonal content that will keep us engaged story-wise. That's not in a lore tab I go read. It's an activity that keeps me pulled back each week to want to complete it. That's part of the campaign and not a seasonal content part like we had with
Yeah.
the weekly 3-week cycle in the Dreaming City. Is that each week I wanted to go find out what Petra wanted from me so that I could talk to the queen and see how we're going to solve this problem. But looks out, we never did because we can't. That was one of the things that we lost throughout Destiny 2 is that we lost the battle at the Dreaming City. That we can never win there, and that'll never happen. Is that I want something that we can get engaged with, that Europa will keep us coming back to each week, even beyond this season of the hunt. Is that's kind of like my big thing that I want them to kind of have a focus on and kind of be important throughout the lifespan of Beyond Light.
Yeah.
I want it to be long because like Shadowkeep, as important that campaign was to finally seeing the Triangle ships on the moon as close as it was to Earth, is that campaign was short, and then we jumped into Vex Offensive, and that was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stopped very short. I almost hope it's like with season of the Arrivals, how they have that weekly mission. You're going into it. Hopefully it's more fleshed out than that because it's super repetitive. But You're getting
have,
that lore.
Have you
bit.
done the last one yet?
Yes, I did. But you go in, right? You do the mission, you get the weekly lore, and it's bringing you back weekly, and it's continuing the story. But hopefully, it's
Can one of you remove him?
Oh, I can just leave. You can.
Yeah, we're just recording a
Alright.
podcast.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
fudge. What was I saying?
I couldn't kick him.
But like being brought back weekly for that, like the Forsaken coming back, seeing the weekly thing that Mara's doing in her throne world, right? Hopefully they have a Beyond Light version of that, as well as a Season of the Hunt version,
Mhm.
where you're constantly coming back and you're getting more stories being added, and at least a little bit more diversity. But I think it'd be cool if they had two going at once. You have the whole, and they obviously tie in, make it smooth, but to have multiple different areas to get your lore intake, your story progression.
I
throughout the
just
DLC.
don't want a repeat of Shadowkeep's launch. Like I want something solid on day one that lasts me through a couple weeks until that seasonal content starts, which is kind of why I'm glad that they're having a week gap before the Europa launches until the seasonal content starts. That is separated, you know. But I feel
Mhm.
like that might not be enough time. That I just want there to feel like there's a longevity to the DLC and not have it be like, okay, we just had this vision with the pyramid ships, and now we go to the garden, and now we're done at the garden. Okay, now the Vex are on the moon. And so that just felt so short and rushed that there really was only like 4 missions in the Shadowkeep campaign, because we had to go collect every single armor piece, and those weren't really missions. We just had to go get the moon gear. But like actual story missions, there was 4. And that just, I don't feel like that was enough and the right way to do it. But that's my main concern about Beyond Light, is that we're able to flesh that out a little bit more. Like you said, have that diversity, and kind of keep my attention for weeks to come, as like the Destiny 2 DLCs are trying to do with the switch to free to play and having the New Light experience.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it drains my wallet each week because I have to keep buying silver. So, you know.
No. That's a personal choice.
Whoa. It is a need. I need cowbell, more cowbell.
Best emote for me now is the meditation emote.
With the
I
candles.
didn't know that was in the store, but I do
I
now.
know my new favorite is I bought for my warlock is the lamp light, where he just goes, just like swinging the lamp around, like standing around in the tower. I'm just excited for Beyond Light. And so just to kind of close it out, thank you guys for kind of being with me to do a first podcast recording and have a
This was
nice,
really fun.
nice general conversation. Is doing more video game news and reporting is kind of what I'm interested in, and learning how to create a sustainable content stream with that is what I've always been interested in, as well as potentially like getting better at editing, like either like a podcast or something in that sort of frame, that you guys are here with me with that. And I'm just happy for that, and we'll kind of close that out. Any last remarks from you guys before I end the recording?
Hold
He's
on.
got his notepad. Shark Pog.
Shark Pog.
Actually, I put Aldrin Pog and
Yes.
Warlock Pog.
Warlock Pog.
Specifically the new exotic. That was it. When I saw that exotic, I said Warlock Pog.
Well, I thank you for anybody that would be watching on digital platforms, whether that be edited on YouTube or posting this to Apple or Spotify podcasts, as that's kind of where we'll be building that out from. And so you'll be hearing from us relatively soon, discussing other video game topics as they come out throughout the week. And Andre's frozen again. That's pretty funny. And just kind of as we move forward, if you kind of want to keep up with our content, then we'll cover a lot of video game news and content as it drops through podcast format or through other forms of media. So thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.
Am I back?